Wildpaw narrowed her eyes and hissed softly to herself as she watched Nightfrost and Stonepaw trot off into the bushes, given permission to go collect stupid stones for some responsibility that Stonepaw had been given by Branchstar. At this rate, he's going to get his warrior name before I do, Wildpaw muttered, anger heating her voice. She lashed out at the grasses around her, her mood darkening quickly. "What are you doing?" a new voice called out, startling her. She hissed and spun around, then flicked her thin tail dismissively as she saw Oakpaw watching her. The other apprentice had apparently wandered away from Crowfeather and Briarstalk, who had gone off to speak with the Branch Clan cats. Wildpaw sniffed and tossed her head, staring haughtily at Oakpaw. "None of your business, Greenie!" Oakpaw rolled his eyes and ignored her comment, sitting down in front of Wildpaw and looking around at the many balls of moss and broken twigs. "Is this where you train?" He sniffed at one of the moss balls curiously, picking up the scent of many cats who had tossed it back and forth during their hunting exercises. "It has been a while since I've been able to train, actually." Wildpaw's voice was wistful. Wildpaw sniffed, flicking her tail as she watched the strange cat in front of her. Oakpaw was a very large cat, like his father, Lionstar. His sheer bulk and fluffy size actually reminded her more of the raccoon that she had fought in the caves, rather than the other apprentices that she trained with in the training grounds of Branch Clan. Wildpaw shifted from foot to foot, feeling irritated, but not quite understanding why. "Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, Greenie. Besides, why haven't you trained in a while? Don't you and your brother—" Wildpaw snapped her mouth shut as she remembered exactly what had happened to Oakpaw's litter brother, Lizardpaw. She had been the cat to find Lizardpaw lost in the forest, roots growing from his body, after all. Oakpaw shot her a pained glance, and then looked away, his shoulders slumping. Wildpaw felt her anger vanish as a cold feeling of shame swept in. A long silence stretched between them, and finally Wildpaw let out a small cough. "Well, I'm bored, so if you have time, I suppose we could train together. I'm out of practice too, though," she snapped, her eyes narrowing and pulp flushing as she thought of how easy it was for her to trip over her own paws lately. "But not because I'm not a good fighter. I was fighting a snake, you got it? A snake! And I chased it away from the clan caves too, but it got me, so I'm a bit out of shape. But anyway, if you want, I guess we could train for a while, since I have nothing better to do."
Now, do you see what I mean, Branchstar? These kids won't survive without more medical supplies, and to get those supplies, I need Moonpaw.
Bearglow's voice was flat and frosty, a faint accusatory note in his tone. The vibrant white medicine cat nodded down towards the tiny brown and gray kit sleeping in the moss bed beside him. Glowkit's small body hardly seemed any bigger than a shrew. Beside him, his sister Coral Kit slept quietly, both kits' bellies full and tight with milk. Bearglow had insisted that Otterslip, who had hardly left her kit's sides, step out for a moment to stretch her legs and get fresh prey from the prey pile. She had only left after he had promised to remain and watch over the kits. And that is where Branchstar had found him, when the leader had arrived to look over the new additions to the clan.
"The things you are talking about have no relation to one another, Bearglow."
Although Branchstar tried to reply with strength, his voice held just a hint of hesitation. The tip of Bearglow's tail twitched at the sound, his eyes flashing like a cat who had just heard the scuttle of prey. Branchstar stared at the tiny kits before him quietly, his pelt twitching with agitation.
"Moonpaw being my apprentice has nothing to do with how many medical herbs you have available for them. She is training to be a warrior. It is important for Branch Clan to have more warriors to help the clan grow."
"And how will the clan's warriors grow if they never even have a chance to survive kithood?" Bearglow dropped his voice to a harsh whisper, lifting his head as he glowered accusingly at Branchstar.
"My skills as a medicine cat may be talented, Branchstar, but not even I can take care of so many sick cats and kits alone. I need Moonpaw as my apprentice, so I can have the help the clan needs to survive in the medicine den. I've told you this before, and so has she."
Bearglow flipped his tail and glared at Branchstar out of the corner of his eye, turning to give him the cold shoulder while Bearglow looked down at the kits once more.
"Moonpaw is my apprentice,"
Branchstar snapped, lashing his tail. His voice startled the kits sleeping in front of him, and they let out a soft cry. Bearglow glared at Branch Star pointedly and leaned down to lick Coral Kit on the head, settling her until she fell asleep again. Branch Star turned away, his pelt hot with embarrassment and a tiny bit of shame. With Moonpaw's situation, it is best that she is trained by me as clan leader. I can help her to become a strong warrior and leader. I know I can. Moonpaw will be one of the most powerful cats that StarClan has ever seen. For the sake of her destiny, she must be properly trained. After all, Branch Star, StarClan has sent me visions clearly saying that this training needs to be in the medicine den, as my apprentice. Bearglow whispered. The intensity of his voice raised the fur on Branch Star's neck. Bearglow stared down at the sleeping kits as he spoke, not looking up at his clan leader. That was the prophecy she was born with. What she can do, what she could be. It would be like nothing else ever seen before. StarClan has decided this long before she was ever born. The shadows among the ferns around Bearglow shifted at his words, reaching unseen towards the cats as he spoke. You claim to want what is best for her and the clan, and yet you still stand in the way of her growth and training, Branch Star. Bearglow's voice was oddly gentle, and his words, while infuriating, somehow chilled Branch Star to the bone. Now was a time of need where her skills could develop and mature while helping her clan as a medicine cat apprentice, and still you stand in her way. Are you so sure you know the right path for her, even after StarClan has sent so many signs telling you what they wish? Have you forgotten what happened to Mossclan due to their anger? That has nothing to do with this, Branch Star snapped, surprising himself. Bearglow snorted and shook his head, not looking up from watching the kits. So you say, the white cat murmured, disapproval thick in his voice. Despite his resolve, Branch Star found his heart rose racing, and he couldn't bring himself to look directly at Bearglow. Part of the reason he struggled so intensely with the medicine cat was Bearglow's way of seeing into the hearts of others so clearly, and using what he saw so well. Branch Star felt his paws tremble slightly. He knew making Moonpaw his apprentice had been primarily an attempt to prevent Bearglow from gaining so much control and power of the clan when he, Branch Star, was the clan leader. But could he really have been wrong to try to think he could guide the power of Moonpaw's prophecy if he guided her himself? What really was the best choice for Branch Clan? Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Sims 3 The Warrior Cats Challenge. And we are here with Branch Clan today, who still has their Moss Clan visitors present. So you can see Oakpaw and Wildpaw are actually having a little bit of a training session together. Wildpaw did sort of stick her entire foot in her mouth when she sort of was like, what's wrong with your brother? And then she remembered, that's right. Right now, Lizardpaw is currently very mysteriously growing roots and rooted to the ground. So Oakpaw is missing his brother Lizardpaw, and Wildpaw did feel badly enough about that she decided to do a little bit of training with Oakpaw. Not to mention, huzzah, she has been wanting to get her skill level back up since she had her skill level decreased so severely after almost dying from that snake bite. I really thought we were going to lose her. So Wildpaw really lucked out at the fact that that she didn't die, and to still be fair, she did have to lose a whole bunch of her hunting skills. So she's trying to regain those right now with Oakpaw. But yeah, we won't be here much longer, you guys, because Crowfeather needs to make a decision pretty soon. Oh, Shellkit's coming out to say hello. Oh, he's gonna go sniff Branch Stalk. Oh, Briar Stalk. Why did I say Branch Stalk again? It's just the bees, you guys. Oh, that was so cute. That was so cute. I think that Briar Stalk would be a little bit enchanted. He does like kits, but he is still a little bit sensitive about the idea of kits and about being near kits because of having lost his own child. Or so he thinks. Like, Fern Creek supposedly might have had kits when she disappeared. So I think he still would be a little bit sensitive about that, but he definitely would maybe give a little bit of a socialize or a sniff. In fact, we'll go ahead and sniff him, and then we'll go ahead and pee, because apparently Briarstock needs his needs tended to. But yeah, we won't be here much longer because Crowfeather needs to make his decision. He's headed off to take a quick nap. But today is the very last day of New Leaf, and it is going to be Green Leaf. Oh, and Branch Star was checking in on Dawnstep. Is he guarding the bed?
Nope, he's just coming in to eat. But I thought that was kind of cute. It almost looked like Branch Star was coming to check over Dawnstep and like guard the bed. Quail Eye is over here. He's also by Dawnstep and hanging out near Coral Kit. Coral Kit is one of his children, and he has fleas again. Oh, that's going to drive Bear Glow up a wall. So that's kind of what's going on right now. Oh, who's this? Who's this eating down here? Oh, and Glow Kit. Glow Kit, he's doing good. I did roll. He has a 10% chance every day, this little guy down here. He has a 10% chance of having another one of those deadly seizures. And if he is going to survive kithood, he needs to survive those seizures. So every day we roll, and every day he has a 10% chance of having a deadly seizure. And then we have to use a rare medical item to cure him. So like one of the rainbow snails or one of the rainbow shells. And so far he's been okay. The last day he rolled it when he was born, and then he hasn't rolled it today, so he should be just fine. All right, hang in there, Glow Kit, hang in there. And then Branch Star is taking care of things. But yes, anyway, Crow Feather. So just to kind of sum things up, is he seriously going to nap in front of Sea Whisper again? He is. So Crowfeather actually has gotten very close with Briarstalk again. He's spent a lot of time chatting with Briarstalk and with Oakpaw. He's remembering how much he misses the forest and he misses Moss Clan. So he needs to make his decision, and he needs to make it probably tomorrow, because he has to figure out on the first day of Greenleaf if he is going to stay here in Branch Clan or if he is going to return back home to Moss Clan. And that, of course, is what Briarstalk and Oakpaw are actually hoping for. They're kind of hoping that they can bring back their best friend? What's that? What? All right. Well, become best friends with Wildpaw. Wildpaw wants to become best friends with Oakpaw. Apparently, these two are getting along really well. I guess we can say that their training is going really well. So I think he'd be less interested in Quail Eye now, because really this is the first time Wildpaw has been allowed to be kind of rough and really train with another apprentice. He's never really trained with Lizardpaw, and there's no other apprentices in the clan. So I could see how he would end up feeling like he's getting a little bit closer to Wildpaw. We'll let these two just basically continually train. But that is going on. These two are just kind of hanging out today. You can read more into it if you want to, but I'm not saying there is anything there. Of course, I wouldn't tell you anyway. And Crowfeather is hanging out. Looks like he's just taking a very quick nap, kind of checking on Sea Whisper. And today we're really going to keep an eye on Crowfeather and see how his decision may be. Right now, it's really looking like he'll go back to Moss Clan. He still is thinking about Moss Clan. He still misses the forest. And he's really had a wonderful time here in Branch Clan, but would he really leave his brother? So that's kind of the question. Would he be willing to leave Branch Stalk over here? Also, I'm going to get rid of the kitty cat vomit back there. Yuck, yuck. And would he be willing to leave Sea Whisper? And he doesn't know, because Sea Whisper has not told him that she is expecting his kits. And she's actually having an extremely rough pregnancy. So she has a much higher likelihood of not surviving the pregnancy. And the kits have only a 50-50 chance. 3 kits, and the Sims cats can have up to 4. So 3 of her kits have a 50-50 chance of surviving birth, and 1 does not. So if she has 4 kits. So she needs to eat another fairy damselfish if she wants to give that kit a chance. But we also have to remember that Bear Glow, as you guys saw from earlier in today's episode when he was doing his speech to pressure Branch Star into letting Moonpaw become his apprentice again. We'll let him kind of stalk around here. Bear Glow is really concerned and has some valid points that his medical stash of herbs and fish is really running very low. He doesn't have an apprentice. He's trying to shoulder all of this on his own. Moonpaw should have been his apprentice. So says Star Clan. So Bear Glow says. And he's putting a lot of pressure back on Branch Star. And Branch Star is starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed, especially having a weakened kit like Glow Kit in the clan. Oh, Glow Kit! Are you coming over to check out Stonepaw? Stonepaw, do you want to... What's this? Do you want to be friends with Glow Kit? Oh, interesting. Interesting. Socialize with your dad. Reach level 8 of the hunting skill. You know what? I could see this. I could definitely see this relationship working out. So we're going to let Glow Kit and Stonepaw socialize with one another. Stonepaw is actually working very hard. He's been collecting a lot of stones, and he's working very hard right now to keep the prey pile full. So there's a lot of stuff going around in this episode, so I apologize if it's a little bit confusing, because we have Crowfeather,
making his decision. That's why I'm talking a little bit to try to explain it. Crowfeather is trying to make his decision about if he is going to stay or if he is going to go. And we're going to have to see where his relationships lie at the end of this, who he is closest friends with. And so far, other than Sea Whisper, it's entirely across the board going to be Moss Clan, because he's best friends with everybody, and Moss Clan really misses Moss Clan, and he loves the forest, he loves frog legs. So far that's what's happening. But if Sea Whisper has her kits before he leaves, then there's probably a good chance, a very strong chance, that that might change everything. So we're keeping an eye on when Sea Whisper will have her kits. If she will have them more or less before dawn tomorrow, we're gonna have to see. That would change absolutely everything. And if she doesn't, then it looks like Crowfeather might head out of here, because he really has fallen in love with Sea Whisper, but he really is a warrior of the forest. So we'll have to leave that to them. And we are, speaking of warriors, working with Stonepaw right now. Stonepaw has a job, and he might need to stop playing with Glowkit. It's interesting that he's interested in Glowkit on his own. We're gonna pay attention to that. But he does have a job of keeping the prey pile completely full, more or less, like always having prey in the prey pile until 6 a.m. tomorrow. So with so many cats here, that's going to be really, really difficult. And I think that it's about time for Slate to add in some more fish, because we did collect a whole bunch of stones that Stonepaw can use to give to Slate, and Slate can give us lots of fish as a result. But it's still going to be pretty tricky. So we might even have Stonepaw do some good old-fashioned fishing, since he's run out of stones in the nearby area. And if he can keep the prey pile full until dawn tomorrow, then he will be able to get his warrior cat name. So good for him, lucky him. And then the one last thing I will note is that Bearglow is feeling pretty stressed out, because guess what? Bearglow is running low on medical supplies, and he made it very clear he doesn't know how well, like how good of a job he can do keeping all of the kits alive and keeping all of the cats alive with so few medical supplies at his disposal right now. So Bearglow's putting the pressure on Branch Star to release Moonpaw and allow poor kind of slightly neglected Moonpaw to become his apprentice, like Bearglow says StarClan says. And Branch Star is beginning to have his doubts and be a little bit confused and try to remember, why on earth was it so important that Moonpaw is his apprentice, and why is he really standing up against Bearglow in this way in the first place? So things are getting a little bit more complicated. And enough chit chat. All right. Socialize with Otterslip. That looks adorable. Sniff Glowkit. Playfully chase Shellkit. So we'll go find your son, Shellkit. Oh, there's Shellkit. Okay, and Briarstock wants to talk, it seems. But Shellkit's right here. So, okay, we'll interact with Shellkit. There we go. These two are just constantly, I think they're just going to like train, because the apprentices are having a good time training. Otterslip wants to playfully pounce Stonepaw, but I think she wants to be, oh, she's really worried about her son. And I think Otterslip would be feeling a little bit weak from having given birth. That's adorable. Socialize with Mistypaw. I really think that Stonepaw and Glowkit would make some pretty good friends. And look at little Shellkit. He's being so rough and tumble. I think Branch Star would be very proud. Oh wow, and these two just leveled up their hunting skills. Nice. Oh no, they just became best friends. What? So somehow they have like figured out that they actually like each other enough to tolerate one another's presence. So that's pretty cool. All right. And Branch Star, how are you doing? He wants to check in on Glowkit too. Oh, and he wants to socialize with Otterslip, actually. Otterslip wants to nap. I'm actually going to have her pee here, and then I'm going to have him socialize with Otterslip to kind of like check on her. And Stonepaw, that's just adorable that he wants to hang out with Glowkit. I love stepping back and just kind of seeing where the relationships are going to head. But I do think Stonepaw is going to have... what are you doing, Briarstock? No, don't pounce Briarstock right now. You should come over here and scratch something, because I think Briarstock wants to come and talk to Otterslip and make sure she's doing okay. Is that socialize or talk? It just says socialize. All right, come here. All right, socialize. There we go. But I think he would want to make sure Otterslip's doing okay after having Glowkit and Glowkit being so weak. And I think he would reassure Otterslip, look, I have a fairy damsel. So is Sea Whisper going to wake up in time? She might ask to eat that fairy damsel, because if she doesn't have a fourth fish, then there is a chance that any kits that she has could potentially... Look at Wildpaw. Oh, and Bearglow just caught a snake. Wildpaw is just on a roll. Oh my goodness. But there is a chance that if she does have a 4th kit in her and she's going to give birth to a 4th kit, right now it would die without the damselfish. So I think, all right, we're going to come over here. Fish, 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 fish. Because Stonepaw, I think, is going to do this the old-fashioned way, as well as the Spirit of the Land way. There we go. So who to focus on? Sorry, guys. I'm really learning that sometimes you just have to pick a cat and their plot and roll with it and just stick to one, because there's just so much going on right now. So I think Otterslip right now would be explaining how she feels all right. She would be explaining how important the fairy damselfish are. And she would probably be, because Otterslip is best friends, actually, with Sea Whisper. What is this? All right, this is Glow Kit again. So he really wants to make sure Glow Kit's okay, and he wants to playfully chase Shell Kit. So we're going to let him bond with Shell Kit, his son. So he believes. Playfully chase. So he's going to bond with his son for a little bit, because Branch Star is always very close to his kits and his family. But I think that Otterslip may have just told Branch Star, because he is the leader and she has always been very loyal to both her leader and her medicine cat, that fairy damsel, he may have offered it to her since she was so weakened from the birth, but that fairy damsel really needs to go over to Sea Whisper, because Sea Whisper needs to eat one more fairy damsel fish in order to protect her kits. Or, of course, they would just say feed Sea Whisper as many as possible, but we know how many to feed her. However, that means if we feed that Sea Whisper, or that if we feed that Sea Whisper, you guys, if we feed that fairy damselfish to Sea Whisper, are there any more? There's one, and that can save a kit's life. And then there's one rainbow snail, 2 rainbow snails, and a rainbow beetle. And I don't think, the thing is, the fairy damselfish is also used to save like a cat from death. Like, So we would really be cutting it close, and then we would have nothing left. Then we would have nothing left, you guys, unless a cat is hiding one. And other than Crowfeather, who does happen to have some on him, then we would have nothing left to cure Glowkit if he has another seizure. So, So yeah, those are some pretty serious decisions we're going to have to make, you guys, but we're just going to have to roll with it. And really, which cat gives what items to who is really going to depend on their relationships with one another. So we're going to go ahead and actually... Shellkit, you go ahead and play with that again. Branch Star is going to have heard the news about Sea Whisper, so we're going to have him come over here, sniff and socialize, and then he will give the fairy damselfish to Sea Whisper to eat, so that she can have had 4 fairy damselfish that way. And that means that she will, oh my gosh, the kits are so cute. That means she will safely be able to trust that any of the kits that she should have, her whole litter, should at least have a 50-50 chance instead of a 0% chance of surviving. So Branch Star, I wonder what he would do with that knowledge. We're going to have to kind of wait and see what would he do with that knowledge that Sea Whisper is expecting kits, because he can probably guess whose kits they are, depending on, you know, who Sea Whisper has been vanishing, go looking for frog legs in quotation marks with for so long. Dawnstep, are you coming? She's coming over here to practice hunting. Practice hunting on, oh, look at her, she just picked it up in her little mouth. Oh my gosh, she's very depressed, but she is a very motherly cat. She's a very good queen. She may be many things, but she is a very good queen. So she is coming over. Look at this. While the kits are playing, it looks like she brought Sand Kit and Shell Kit out to play. That's adorable. All right, so we're going to give the fairy damselfish to Sea Whisper. And she's going to eat it even though she's not hungry, because that will actually give her the opportunity to take care of those kits. Wonderful. All right. And meanwhile, Shell Kit, you're going to play with your dad. So play chase. There you go. All right. So that takes care of these guys. What's Crowfeather doing? He's napping. And how is our Fisher Stonepaw doing? Is he catching anything? The grocery store is selling fireworks. Well, that's great for the grocery store. Lizardpaw and Oakpaw are no longer friends. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, I wonder if that means that, like, Oakpaw is kind of feeling like he met somebody new. He's missing his brother, is what I'm going to say. Because his brother is kind of part tree right now. They don't know if they're ever going to interact with Lizardpaw, or if he's going to just full up turn into a tree at this rate. Alright, Stonepaw, are you having any luck? You're better at collecting stones and catching birds than fishing, aren't you? Well, that's okay. Nobody said the Spirit of the Land had to be a very good fisher. Alright, so Stonepaw, we are still trying to keep up with his task. Oh my gosh, and we're going to go ahead and sell one of the moonstones that he got, so we can get 7 fish with that moonstone.
And we'll just put down some swordfish. 2, 3, 4. How about shark? 5, 6, and 7. There we go. So 7 fish for that. And I wonder if actually, now that he's best friends with Slate, he could try to bring things to Slate to encourage Slate to hunt for certain, or to fish for certain items. So glow orbs, fairy damselfish, and glow orbs. So if we can find glow orbs out in the world and send our spirit of the land cat Stonepaw off to go gather up a whole bunch of the glow orbs, then he could give them to Slate, and Slate could use them to fish for fairy damselfish. And if we have them fish with angelfish, there's a chance of getting a death fish. Oh my goodness, you guys. And it doesn't look like you can't fish for rainbow snails. So the only thing that we could really get from Slate that would be useful, other than sea sludge, which I guess there is a bait for sea sludge. I would love to know it because we use sea sludge to get rid of fleas. But the luminous salamander, we're going to say, is pretty useful. That's going to be for future diseases. We haven't really assigned that to anything yet. Tragic clownfish is good for depressed fish, depressed cats. So it would be useful to have for like Dawn Step, because I'm going to make it so that there are modifiers on each of the cats, and I will be updating the Google document a little bit better in the future too. And Dawn Step is depressed right now, so I'm going to say that might over time, if she's depressed for a certain number of days, it'll start to decrease her hunting skills, it'll start to affect her moods, it'll raise her risk for getting sick, it'll raise her risk for random events. If a cat has a modifier, that could be an emotional modifier, and it could be a positive one or a negative one, but we'll talk about that in the future. Blowfish would actually be useful because they would be like assassin's beetles. They would help prevent any poisons, and that may be very, 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 very important. Keeping poisonous, venomous things under control is going to be extremely important for Branch Clan in the summer, in in Greenleaf. So just keep that in mind. I won't say anything more about it, but just keep it in mind. Piranhas, useful for robot fish. Not useful for this clan, but there will be a future clan that will heavily rely on robot fish. So I could imagine there might be a really active trade in that in the future. And deathfish. Now, I wonder what kind of decent medicine cat would want anything to do with a deathfish. So we'll have to remember that. All right. So enough of that nonsense. There we go. We are kind of doing multiple things at one time just because the storylines have smashed into us this way. So I apologize if we seem to be like jumping all over the place, you guys. Stonepaw is going to be doing so much fishing because he has run out of rocks. Dawn Step is actually hanging out with her kits a little bit, which I think is adorable. I'm also going to make sure that she uses the restroom. And then let's see, practice hunting. Looks like Glowkit is feeling quite well when he's not sick. Looks like Misty Pond is playing with, oh, Wild Paw. Interesting. All right, well, we're going to stop that. It looks like Misty Pond kind of sort of forces herself on people. And Wild Paw is actually curious about Sandkit, one of her little sister, her only little sister. Now she has like 2 brothers and 1 little sister. So it looks like maybe after talking to maybe after talking to Oak Paw, Wild Paw is sort of feeling a little bit more like maybe she should pay attention to her siblings. Misty Pond, don't react like that just because Wild Paw peed in front of you if you're just going to stand there. Like, honestly. All right. And then Bearglow, what are you doing? Grooming himself and being cranky. You can't have fleas, Bearglow. You're a medicine cat. You lucked out there. All right. And I think there's no more grapes for him to harvest. Oh, there's a grape over here. But that's like a red grape. I don't know if red grapes could be used. And blueberry bushes. All right. You go home, Bearglow. It doesn't look like there's anything he could use. There's like some mushrooms. But we've made it so that he can trade his grapes for sea sludge, and he can use that to get rid of fleas because he hates fleas. But I'm going to have to find a better way for Branch Clan to get rid of fleas. All right. Oakpaw, what are you doing? Taking care of yourself. Going to go scratch things. Going to go nap. Good for you. All right. So that really does go through the list so that everybody should more or less be okay. So for the most part, we're going to focus on Stonepaw tonight. Because as long as he can make it to dawn, then he should be able to become a warrior. Because he will have proven himself. And he has gained enough. He's got over 5 on his hunting skill. But it is very interesting to note. Alright, sniff Oak Paw. Let's see. Play with another pet. Play with another pet. He does want to improve his hunting skill. It's very interesting to note how he hasn't caught a single fish. He can work with Slate, it seems, but he can't actually catch a single fish on his own. So,
Alright, how are the kits doing? Let's make sure. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Dawnstep, really? Oh my gosh! Is she really gonna do? It's almost like she's showing the kits how to hunt. And honestly, if it's a turtle Dawnstep, I mean, even you, with your issues when it comes to hunting, even you might be able to pull this off. Alright. Good luck, Dawnstep. She wants to catch a fish and improve her hunting skill. This is interesting. This is very interesting to see how out of the blue... Did she catch it? No, just a snake skin. And Stonepaw caught a snail. I think he inherited his mother's issues when it comes to fishing. So sorry, so sorry. She's not like to hunting. She's not very good at it, but she really wants to be. All right, and see. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Well, you guys, this is actually going to be a huge thing. So I'm going to do something miserably terrible to all of you. And I'm going to let you guys know that on this very, very busy night, this very busy, chaotic night with everybody running around doing so many things, Sea Whisperer suddenly doesn't feel so good. And I will see you guys next time when we will find out, because this is going to be a huge, gigantic plot point twist that I wasn't anticipating, because I thought I had a couple more days before she had her kits. But I will see you guys next time when we will find out what is going to happen and what decisions are going to be made. And more importantly, if Sea Whisperer is even going to survive this birth. So, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.